Good morning. I'm Georgia Williams with the Investing News Network. We're here at day 3 of the PDAC conference in Toronto. Joining me today is CEO and Director of NexGen Energy, Leigh Curyer. Good morning, Leigh.
Good morning.
It's very nice to see you today.
Great to see you, as always.
Thank you for speaking with me. NexGen has several uranium assets in the Athabasca Basin of Saskatchewan, an area that has been described as Canada's most prolific mining district, as well as the uranium capital of the world. What sets Athabasca Basin apart in terms of uranium mining?
It's all comes down to the size and grade. The size of these deposits are enormous, but what makes them so special is actually the very high grade. The grade in the Athabasca Basin is approximately 100 times that of the world average. So it's an incredible province for uranium mineralisation. And uniquely, it's found on both sides of the basin, both on the east and also on the western side.
And it's a hospitable mining jurisdiction.
Oh, yes. The Fraser Institute rank Saskatchewan as the #1 mining jurisdiction in the world for mining investment, development and production. So we're very blessed at NexGen in terms of we're in the world's best mining jurisdiction, and we also have one of the world's best mineral discoveries. Not just in uranium, but when you look at the economic value of our deposit compared to other minerals and some of the large gold and copper mines around the world, it really does stand out as just a phenomenal asset. And being in Saskatchewan, given the permitting and the profile and everything, that's such a great jurisdiction to do business.
It's very exciting. Now, speaking of uranium, how has it performed in Q1 to your expectations?
Q1, yeah, it has been to expectations. Uranium's up 40% over the course of 2018 with 232 that's occurring in the US. It's put a bit of a hold on contracting. However, there'll be a decision handed down during the second quarter of this year. And no matter what that decision is, either an embargo or two pricing system for US sourced uranium, what it is going to undoubtedly do is return the utilities and the producers back to the contracting table. And so I think you're going to see a further increase in the uranium price once that is resolved.
Now, speaking of Section 232, there's a proposed 25% domestic quota. Do you think this will affect the uranium market in a positive or negative way?
Yeah, look, the US consume 50 million pounds per annum. I think they're on target this year just to produce 1 million pounds. So going up to 25% of that 50 million pound approximately consumption is going to take some time. And it's also going to take a far higher price than what we've currently got in the spot market, just due to the nature of those deposits in the US. They're lower grade compared to the Athabasca. But look, the US has, in the 70s and 80s, was the world home of uranium mining. But those resources have all been expended, and so you're at the higher end of the cost cycle with respect to US production. And getting up to 25% would take, I think, in excess of 5, more likely closer to 10 years before you're even at that level. So I think is it good for uranium? I think it's potentially good for the US producers, but I think it's still good for Canada and and Australia, for instance, because the US relies on their friendly neighbours in Canada and their friends down in Australia, where I'm from, to really fill that gap between what they consume and what they produce.
Now, speaking of friendly neighbours, do you think that they might implement a friendly ally sort of exemption for Canada and Australia?
Yeah, I think they're going to have to, because there's just not any real alternative sources for them other than Kazakhstan. And look, any nuclear utility wants to have a nice diversified fuel mix. And I don't see how else it can actually work in the US unless they continue to seek and source uranium from Canada and Australia. Now, the 232 is a statement about the cheap material coming from some of those Russian-owned states. and so I don't believe it's really directed towards Canada and Australia.
Now, switching back to NexGen.
Yes.
Have you had any exciting discoveries or announcements in Q1?
Yes, we have been continuing our 125,000 metre drilling program, which is the largest in Canada for a uranium project this year. I think it's one of the largest in the last decade. Right. We've got 10 drill rigs drilling. We'll have a lot of news flow coming out over the course of this year. And so, we're very busy. We've got our heads down and our tail up, and really working hard with respect to advancing this project forward.
Right. And what do you expect for the rest of the year?
Yeah, we've got some very exciting things coming together. We'll be submitting our permit, which will reflect all the work we've done for the last 5.5 years. So there's a lot of work, over 300,000 metres of drilling. We've done a number of environmental, metallurgical, geotechnical work, hydrogeological work as well. And all of that culminated in a PFS, which we released in November of last year. And then we put that together in a permitting document, and it's under submission. And so this next phase is going to really just be information that's validating those parameters that we've submitted in our license application, and so it really is on the back end for us. Right. No matter how long that takes, and it's unquantifiable at the moment, but we're very excited. We've got a phenomenal project. Environmentally, it's going to set a new standard in environmental mine management. And secondly, the benefits it's doing for the local community, the province, and also Canada are quite phenomenal. And when you look a little bit further into the 2020th decade, particularly around the mid part of the decade, when uranium production worldwide, even in Kazakhstan, in Canada, in Australia, the existing major producers over the last 20 years are experiencing a production decline. And so we're very excited at NexGen because we feel we'll be coming into production just at a time when the world really, really needs us. And based on 2017 production numbers, would represent, when in production based on our PFS, about 25% of the world's total uranium production. So phenomenal opportunity. We've got a very dedicated team who works very, very hard every day, and we have a razor focus on it.
That's really exciting. Now, switching gears a little bit,
Yes.
NexGen was the winner of the Social and Environmental Responsibility Award at this year's PDAC conference. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Could you tell us a little bit about winning this honor?
Yeah, look, it's a terrific honour. Last year we won the award for the best discovery, and look, that really reflected our technical and management disciplines in terms of discovering and developing a fantastic asset. But what makes us as a group particularly proud of this year's award is that it reflects who we are as a group of people, and that extends way beyond developing a world-class project. It represents our core values and our culture, and we do have a very firm focus on whatever we're doing is creating as much positivity as possible. Right. And it's just a core ingredient to everyone that works at NexGen, and being focused on people that we perhaps may not ever meet in our lives. Because if we really get that right, well, I think all of our careers, be it an accountant, a geologist, or a mining engineer, or communications manager, we've got that also in terms of our career achievements, which I think is really cool.
It is very cool. Congratulations once again.
Thank you.
I'm Georgia Williams with the Investing News Network, and this was Leigh Curyer, NexGen Energy.
Thank you.
Thank you.